page Daled. He had quoted at the end of the first parak, the Brisa of Rav Pinchas ben Yoyer. What is the various levels that one advances himself to be able to ascend spiritually, to address all spiritual aspects of a person's life? Meaning, he explained that the medium to achieve spiritual perfection are mitzvos. That's the only way you can achieve it. Now the question is, how do you perform correctly and properly a mitzvah? What do you need? Of course, you need knowledge. You have to know what a mitzvah is. But even if you know what the mitzvah is, to be able to execute it properly, right? How do you execute it properly? Because knowing what it is not enough. You have to execute it carefully. Right? Your person knows the procedure, but as much as you know the procedure, it has to be done properly, with care, especially if it's something very delicate. Of course, if you do it too quickly, or you overlook a certain step, it actually has serious consequences, ramifications.
The slight variation will alter the result.
Correct. Hinei hazihirusu, she odem nizor b'masav b'nyonov. One has to be careful regarding his actions and his affairs. It's interesting. Two things: actions and affairs. For instance, your action and your affair. Action is what you do. Affairs is what you get involved in. They tell over the story about the Netziv. Netziv, as a child, he had very wealthy parents, the Netziv. And his father was a great Talmud Chacham, and he was a very unruly child. So, and with all the attempts to get him to learn, it just wasn't working. So late one night, his father and mother were discussing, they're going to apprentice him to become a shoemaker. And he overheard the conversation. And because he overheard the conversation, he broke down crying and realized where they wanted, what direction his life should go. He begged them to give him another chance. And they said, okay, one more chance. And as a result of that, he became the Netziv, authored endless Svarim, Rosh Yeshiva Volozhin, so on and so forth. Had mentored thousands of Talmidim, who were the leading Rabbonim in Europe, who actually led communities. So the Netziv said, he says, after 120 years, if he'd come to Olam Haba, and they would ask him, did you do this, did you die? He would say in the affirmative, I learned, I sent, I gave stock. So, and he would think immediately, they're sending him right through the gates, right into Gan Eden. So they say, did you study every morning, 4 in the morning, from 4 to 7? Not a problem. Didn't waste a moment. At night, another 3 hours, so on and so forth. See, he said, tzaddik. All of a sudden, they take out a mural of a man who has thousands of students behind him. All his works are displayed. And they said, you see this picture? You see this mural? That's who you were supposed to be. You weren't supposed to be the devout shoemaker. You had the ability, you were endowed with abilities, the choice, you should have been this. So you could do everything right, but the question is, do you really belong? Were you doing everything right? Maybe you belong in a different arena. And because you're not in that arena, there's a claim against the person. Because that one choice makes a difference where you end up. That's the Tziv's point about himself. That's the story that Tziv said over. So there's Masav. The Masa you do perfectly. But what about your affairs? Where do you find yourself? Yeah, but factually it was his own misbehavior. Why? So he was lucky he overheard the conversation of his parents.
Rabbi, it doesn't say anywhere. So in other words, if you were to ask me what's the key to Judaism, I'd say do as many mitzvahs as you could. It doesn't say that. It says, well, sends on Torah what it was. He asked Hillel what the key was. No one says, get a Rebbe, teach you to do as many mitzvahs as you can from morning to night, and that's it. You don't need to learn nothing. Have a rabbi teach you. Do this what you
No,
learn.
Rabbi, you're right.
Teach you.
There's still a mitzvah, but there's a mitzvah to study Torah also.
Yeah, that's a mitzvah.
Jay said it's one of the mitzvahs.
But I'm saying that, just, give me 150 mitzvahs to do every day, I'll do it.
Listen, but it's not enough. It's not enough.
It seems like,
We're saying the mitzvah is the medium. But the fact is, it's not enough just to do the mitzvah. You have to be in the right place at the right time, so to say. The context has to be right. Context. There are halachas, you interrupt your Torah study to do a mitzvah. And you're obligated to interrupt it. If you can't, if you have a mitzvah which cannot be delegated to a third party, you have to interrupt your Torah study to address that mitzvah. Right? McGill is one of them. Right? But there are other things. A poor man comes, and there's nobody to help him. And he's truly needy. You have to interrupt your Torah study. If you could be delegated to another body, you're not obligated. So it depends. But so you have to know when yes, when not. No, you're not permitted. You're not permitted. You're not permitted. Kloma, mizbone mfakech al masav u'drochov. One has to reflect, mfakech. He uses the word survey. Right? Pikeach. Al masal al drocha, for your actions and your ways. Hatovim heim lo, are they proper, appropriate? Are they good or are they not? Levilti azov nafshel l'sakanos ivodo, not to abandon one's neshama to the danger of what? Of destruction. Chas v'chalilo, lo yelech me'mahalech hergelo kiv ba'afelo. There's a major problem. One should not succumb and allow himself to be drawn to his, he says, habitual behavior, like a blind man in the dark. Very often we do things, and we want to do them correctly, but after we start, we realize we're halfway through. Before we even got started, we're halfway through already. As much as we're well-intended. Why? That's called hergel. We say, it's interesting, we say, the Yerotza we say in the morning of after Hamavishid Mino, what do we say? What's the Yerotza? Shetargileinu Sarasecho. Targileinu. What is the word Targileinu? Yeah, but was hergel is not a good thing. That you should do it naturally. Right? It should be done naturally. Regilus means natural. Right? Right after Hamavshin Mino, Snuma Mefapoy. What does it say? Right? Targileno. Okay. Yeah, here we're talking about as a negative. Person should not allow himself to be drawn into his hergil, into his ordinariness, what he's accustomed to do, which starts from rote behavior. And yet we say, we ask Hashem, there should be like a naturalness when it comes to Torah. So what I always say is this, of course, when you do something, it has to be done with thought, deliberate. Whenever it comes to do something, anything physical, we're inclined. Anything spiritual, you're not naturally inclined. But what happens if you're conditioned, even for the spiritual? So if you're not inclined, there's always an inertia. You always there's something. There's a tension. You always have to overcome something until you do it, because you don't do it naturally. Right? Somebody calls up saying, "Free tickets to World Series. Make sure to be there 6 hours before the game." Right? You're going to be there, without a question. You'll cancel every appointment to be there, right? If you're below 76 years old. You'll be there, right? Because he never grew up,